Well, hey, everybody, what's up? Look who we have here. For anybody that doesn't know, this is our friend from Syntax FM, Mr. Scott Tolinski himself. Do I have to give you an introduction? You've probably done enough of them. Go ahead, give us your intro.
Yeah. Hey, my name's Scott Tolinski. I co-host of Syntax. I work over at Sentry, and I started on YouTube back in 2012, where I started my YouTube channel, Level Up Tutorials. Started the podcast in 2017, and have just been grinding on this stuff ever since. Teaching web, having a great time building stuff.
Awesome, I love it. It's great to have you here. It's great to finally connect. We've been going back and forth for a while, like trying to get something going, and this was Kismet. Tell us a little bit about your experience doing something like this.
Yeah. Well, judging resumes or being on stream here.
Yes. the more
Yes.
more importantly, the resumes. I feel like you've done streams, and
Yeah.
you're kind of known for your podcast. I would say a little bit.
Yeah. Totally. You know what? We've done kind of similar things, not necessarily the exact same, where we're taking a look at people's websites and judging them for their presence. But
Mm.
I've generally been a part of the hiring process at all kinds of different stages: small time agencies, big time agencies, startups, all kinds of stuff. So I've seen my fair share of resumes, been in my fair share of hiring situations, and generally think I have good taste for that kind of thing. And I always like to consider my resume always pretty dang up to snuff. So
Ooh,
yeah.
so well, maybe you'd be interested in submitting yours for tomorrow's resume and LinkedIn review, as I have a very unbiased guest that would be coming in tomorrow that could take a
Oh
look
man.
at that. But the thing is, and this is why I like to get different viewpoints for all this, is because everybody's opinion and feedback, like what you're looking for on a resume, is going to be very different from what Francesco was looking for yesterday. So this is really great to just get different eyes on different things. For anybody that was here yesterday, we did roll out a fun new tool for you guys to kind of hang out and engage with us. Go to resumerate.lovable.app/rate. That will bring up your user review card, and in real time, if you click that, you'll see your emojis pop up on the screen there as well. But I did add some new features today, so it'll make it a little easier for us to engage with it. Anyway, head there. Let's get started. I actually just set up. Oh, yep, there. See, it's already happening. uh, First one. This is, and I want to point out, this is real. And I hope that this does actually pop up here.
Oh
Beautiful.
yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh wow.
So we did omit the actual user's image in the top left side, and his phone number and his name, but this is an actual resume that came for a role to someone's inbox. Why would you even, if you're considering a job, would this be something that you would look at and be like, okay, this person might have it for me?
Yeah. Well, I will say it's eye catching.
Yeah.
And there's aspects of it that I do find to be hilarious, but like, and what you ultimately have to know is that this isn't like you are being hired to fit a vibe of a company, but you're not being hired to come in and be like a clown, essentially. So like
Yeah.
people want to know that they can trust you. They can trust you to get your stuff done and trust you to be a reasonable person.
Mm.
And while this says like, oh, sure, I find this to be personally funny, and I'm sure this person is really interesting and possibly very smart. They're just goofy. It doesn't stream trustworthy to me, and that's like the biggest issue for me.
Yeah, I agree. So I did look up the person's actual name that was on here. Um, Checked out their LinkedIn, and it is in fact a real person, and there is some information over there. I think again, there's a certain level of humor that can be
Yes.
involved in your whole persona, but taking it too far, uh, um,
Taking it too far as a shows like a lack of judgment. you
yeah,
know,
for
yeah.
sure.
What's appropriate here?
Yeah. If you guys want to throw your reviews in, drop those in there. But I mean, right out of the gate, and we do it out of 5, and you can add your tenths and hundredths. But well, let's not go that far. I'm gonna say like a 1 1 1. Lots of
Yeah.
room for improvement.
Yeah, I'm in agreement of that, and it's mostly
Yeah.
just on would this person get the job? No, they would not get the job. I will give them uh, a 3 for presentation. No, I won't.
Mm.
I don't. I think it's funny, but again, it's just not trustworthy at all.
Yeah. Wow. So we're jumping all the way up to a two. Okay, so we're getting about a two, 1.8 from the audience. So I feel like we're all in agreement. Like some level of personality is great, but you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot if you take it too far. So I love that. Points for humor. That is
I
all.
think you
Yeah.
could even do the unicorn rainbow thing much smaller in a well formatted resume, and that's a little touch of fun, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you could pick one thing, but this is hat on a hat on a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't scroll this because it's a JPEG as opposed to a PDF file. That's all we were given. But there are other images too. Like this is actually there's more.
Yeah.
I'll send this to you just for a giggle later. But anyway, let's move on. Oop, wrong guy. We are going to pick our friend in the tort community, my man Bjorn. My guy Bjorn here. You guys see this? Did I clear
Yeah.
this? I didn't clear. Okay. Well, we can. Oh, there we go. It reset. Awesome. All right. This is our friend Bjorn. He is a PHP developer. I do know that about him. He's currently looking at some PHP backend roles. Bjorn, you didn't omit your personal info. I apologize in advance. How do you feel about pictures on resumes? I know that that's something that internationally it's more common. You
Mm.
don't see that a lot here.
Yeah. For me, I've always been told, yeah, keep it simple, black and white. Anything that's color needs to look good in black and white if you're
Mm,
printing it out in black and white. I know this is a different era. We're not printing things. People are looking at these on a computer. I think maybe it's my nearly 40-year-old brain telling me that you should not have a picture on it. But at the same time, it's not hurt anybody if you're viewing this digitally. If this was
mm.
again being, if this is at a place where you know it's going to get printed out and passed around, whatever, that's a different situation. And there are still places doing that.
That's true. That's true. Professional summary. Accomplished software developers specializing in performance optimization and clean code brings along diverse experience due to having worked with PHP since 2010 and with Laravel and Lumen for multiple years. What's your thoughts or what's your take on the summary section?
I like a summary.
Hmm.
I
Do you
do
like
think.
his summary?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I am not grammatically inclined. I am just about the last person to ask if something makes sense grammatically. So for me, I'm looking at this and just saying like, okay, does the vibe tell me enough about him? Okay, he's an accomplished developer, clean code. Yes, so he's dropping, that he thinks about performance. He's dropping
Mhm.
that he cares about clean code. Brings along diverse experience, having worked in PHP. So he has been around PHP since. Yeah, what version of PHP was 2010? That's
Gosh,
I
a
can
long time
imagine.
ago.
Yeah, I worked in PHP in 2010, and that tells me a little bit about like his foundations.
Mm.
I know what it was like to work in PHP in 2010 with Laravel and Lumen multiple years. Okay. I think this is fine. I don't have any notes. Me personally, I don't need a much longer than this because this is a quick couple. Let me know like who he is and what he's about, where he's been. 2010, like right up front, says he's been working in this stuff long enough to know, you know, what's going on.
Yeah,
How do
I
you
like
feel
it.
about it?
I
Yeah.
I like it. It's simple. What do we have? Three sentences? Two sentences.
Two.
Um,
Yeah.
but it does like encompass the important notes. Like from what this says, and especially throwing that date in there that he's been using PHP since 2010. Like now, I have in my subconscious that this is an experienced PHP developer. I mean, that's
Yeah.
15 years with the framework. So I think I think it's great. I think people use that section and kind of abuse it, like turn it into some sort of a huge biography.
Yeah.
It gets too long and nobody has time for that. What's your workflow as far as viewing a resume? Like what are your eyes drawn to? What are you looking for first?
I always start with the professional summary, but
Mm,
if I do look right away visually and this is like my dumb brain looking at it, just their attention to detail and even just a nice layout on the thing.
Mm,
Because there are so many people who neglect all of those things, and that tells me they just don't care. Um, but that's like I'm not hunting for, oftentimes it's front end engineering roles that I've been a part of. And for me,
hmm
those types of people need to have attention to detail to like pixel perfect anything. So if they hand me a resume that's looking sloppy or misspaced or anything, that tells me that, like, yeah, you don't have to be a designer, but it also tells me you don't care. So for me, like
mm,
big picture, but I do go straight to a summary if one has one. As opposed to many other people, I like a cover note. I'll read a cover note.
mm.
But again, it's not necessary, and oftentimes it can be too long. So yeah, no, if there is a summary, I'll go right to it. Otherwise, yeah, work history, those types of things. The skills section, we you do have to read the skills section, but like oftentimes people are they're if they're applying for a job and they're serious, they what the job is accounted for, is there. And you can look in their work history or work in their past work, or better yet, look in their code if that's available
Mm,
and see what those skills actually are.
yeah,
But oftentimes people just put stuff in skills, just
yeah,
load up on skills to say
yeah.
all the keywords.
We ran into one yesterday that literally just had any skill that the person could come up with that they've ever done in work, like meetings. Literally, the word meetings was there.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Restraint in that section can be a positive indicator, I will say.
ooh, nicely said. I like that. That's great feedback. And you were getting lots of lightning and flame emojis while you were talking, so I feel like everybody's relating to what you're saying. So through professional summary and skills, are you interested in this person so far? Are you going to continue with this resume?
If the job is for a PHP development job, sure. Yeah. No, they're using all this
Awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So far, so good. Let's go down to the work history. Oh, God. What's happening? There we go. Okay. My thing with work histories is I do like more concise bullets with like some quantitative data.
Mm.
So just
Quantitative.
a couple sentences doesn't really do it for me like that. I don't feel like that's telling me enough of a story of what you did or are doing in this role. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. This thing is 3 pages. Okay, so there's
Yeah.
probably going to be a lot here. I just noticed that it was 3 pages.
Yeah.
For me, I like stick to three relevant. This is not like an official recommendation, but what I do is I stick to three relevant work experiences, um, and do bullet points that, like you said,
Mm,
more real information about how I had an impact.
mm-hmm.
So less of what you did. I mean, what you did is great, but how you made an impact on the team. And what I do notice about this one is on page one, we are still at the end of it in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you can cut the freelance work, but some of this does, yeah. Are these are totally different jobs? PHP and Twicker, web and Twicker.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
that's
I
the
believe
word
they are.
for, yeah. That's like, is that the job title? Okay, that's the
Yeah.
job title. Web developer. Okay, JTL software. Okay,
And then he had freelance here two
yeah,
years ago, and then we're going all the way back. So he's got experience from 2010 all listed.
yeah. So you know what I would do personally. I don't know if this is of your recommendation, but I would take that one that goes from October 2015 to 2023, and that might, like, that one to me shows that you can work at some place for a long period of time. You
Mm,
could be happy at a company, because you look at the first three and it's like you're within, a couple of short span of years, and then now you have one that shows you really, like, that to me is a good item to have in here. So that needs to be on the first page.
yeah. I agree. I think if this was written differently, um I mean, again, even just kind of the layout, there's a lot of white space. I feel like we could probably use this a little bit better, which would pull all this information up, which I think could give you room if you lose this freelance role
Yeah.
and pull this up. Now you're in one page of really, really good consolidated data about yourself. And then if we were to lose all of this, then that's pulling up your volunteer work and education. Oh man, yeah, and that's still
Yeah.
only the end of page 2.
Yeah. I have a question. Is
Yeah.
if well, do you like to see languages in something like this? Because to me, it's only there if it's like relevant. I guess it might be more an international work where
Yeah.
there's multiple languages being spoken in the workplace.
Sure. So I think, and again, this is something that we harp on a lot, and I think you've already touched on it a couple times too. So it's good to see that this is something that a lot of people mirror and reiterate is like build the resume for the role. Like if you're going to be working with teams that maybe are international, where having multiple different languages that you're fluent in or comfortable with could benefit working with these other teams, or it's a scenario in the job that would be a benefit, then I think add it for sure.
Okay.
We work with developers in LATAM a lot, so people that are comfortable with English. I think there's actually a rating system for that, and a lot of people will add that on there because in the vetting process in the interviews, they do check the do a language assessment essentially. So no,
Yeah.
it definitely can benefit. But I think again, there's ways to incorporate it into the resume that it doesn't necessarily take up this much space.
Yeah. It's funny. I did lose a job because of language deficiencies at one point.
Mm.
I had been flown to Tokyo and shown around Tokyo for a whole week by the company that did Pokemon's website
Oh
in
wow.
about 2012. No, 2008. I'm sorry,
Oh
2008. It was
wow.
a Flash website, and they wanted to give me the job. And then when they interviewed me, they were like, "Your Japanese is not good enough." And I was just like,
Aw.
"What? You should have told me that before at some
Yeah.
point."
Thanks for the
Uh,
heads up, pal.
yeah, yeah,
You have bullet points where you should have a single line, and sentences where you should have bullet points. I think. Yeah, that's an interesting note.
yeah.
There are the bullet points here, but then up here you have all these like paragraphs. Good call on that, Ramsey. I think some consistency there again, and also I feel like the spacing, like this could all be one line, and
Yeah.
then you're losing, that's 4 more lines that pull all that information up, and you come, now we're already down to 2 pages just with the edits, which is a lot cleaner. Okay, let's get a final review or rating from the audience members, and then I want to hear yours first, Scott. We'll let those come in, and you can
Okay.
give us your review.
Yeah.
Oh, not loving the format, too spread out, but the extra space doesn't help me in understanding reading. I feel like freelance would be good to have in a separate section. Yeah, like the volunteer section. Yeah, also. But it's also so far down the line as far as experience, like it could probably go away. All right, Scott, what are we giving
Yeah.
this one?
Oh man, overall, let me skip the overall for a second and
Yeah.
and break it down. I think the presentation is a 3. It's very readable. It
Mm,
would print fine. It would be black and white fine if anybody cares about that. But it is consumable. And yeah, 3 pages is not usually my favorite type of length for one of these things. Like a 2 or less for me
hmm
personally. But like presentation, it's fine enough. The reason why I'm giving you 3 instead of something higher is I do think the uh the organization of like the importance of data is not like expressed well via like font sizes and spacing.
Mm,
Like some people have mentioned the spacing being an issue, but there are some things that are not important that are a larger font size that are taking up a lot of space. Then you get into some other things that I feel like could be given more emphasis or more space, and they don't have the room for it because of that. So I think you could, with some kind of like an assessment of like what's important. And I don't want you to mess with it too much because sometimes people get in there and they start tweaking things and make it much worse because it's serviceable. But I do think there are a lot of tweaks you could make aesthetically to make it be more, you know, readable in terms of like what is important.
mhm.
Content quality, I think, is great. I gave you a 4 out of 5 because I think this could be a 5 with editing. removing of some of those things, adding, more of like what you accomplished in your work history, or what benefit you gave. But like, I got a good feel for who you are, and I have a good feeling for your experience. And to me, like, those are the important things. Where if this was a role, I would feel like you have, at least the experience to be able to handle, most likely, whatever this is.
I agree with that take. I'm going to say a 3.5. I think it's more about the layout than the content that's here. I think that this could be written in a far more ingestible way for
Yeah.
somebody. But do I think it's a bad setup now? No. Do I think it could be improved and just like flow a lot better and really tell like your story and make somebody be excited about it? Yeah, absolutely. Because I think there's just parts where you're like, oh, this is just a lot of information. Like I already see I want to talk to this person more. I don't think all that extra fluff is necessarily needed. So yeah, I think you did great, Bjorn. I
Yeah.
know you've been like wanting us to look at this for a while, and like you were hoping to get roasted. I think this is definitely good. I think what is here with a good first interview would be a good first step for you. But I think you could definitely make some improvements. So good
Yeah.
job.
There's nothing disqualifying here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice way of putting it. All right. Let's see who's next. I got to figure out where my clear button went too. Oh yeah, it did it. It did it on its own. Whoops. All right. So we did Bjorn. Let's try Pranshu. Pranshu, are you here? I hope you're here. All right. Let's see. Did we already do? No, we didn't. Okay. Cool. Oh, maybe I have to hit the. I wonder if it'll do it. Let's see. Maybe that's what I have to do. I'll fix that later. Okay, yeah, it took everything out. Oop, too big. All right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. Okay. Final year CS student at IIT focused on backend engineering and real time infrastructure built and deployed scalable systems in Go and Python, including a real time leaderboard supporting 28,000 plus concurrent users, experience and observability, CI CD, and optimizing cloud infra for cost and performance. Okay, there's our professional summary. What are we thinking so far?
Yeah. I don't know if we. Well, I don't know about the education part here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like, yeah, you could say, a like, this is describing who you like are. I get you are a student, but like, you are, coming to be a back end engineer, uh, interested in real time
Mm.
infrastructure. Um, Rather than I'm a student. I guess you are students, though. I don't know how I feel about that line being up front. That would make me a little. I don't know. It's like one of those little nicky nacky things. So you can maybe give me your feelings on that. Built deployable scalable systems in Go and Python, real time leaderboard supporting. Okay, so that's one project. This doesn't tell me a lot about who they are, but more or less what they're doing and what they've done. So that there's other places for that in my experience.
I agree. I feel like he's doing himself a disservice by putting that he's a final year CS student. I feel like that's actually going to eliminate him from a lot of possible opportunities.
Yeah.
Like leading with that, I think it's damaging in this situation because what that told me is you don't have any experience. Like right out of the gate, you're still a student. So, I mean, yeah, you might have interned, which it looks like you have a few times, but again, like that professional experience just immediately is negated by you putting that out there. So I think to Scott's point, there is a place for it somewhere, just not your lead for sure. And then it's followed by education. So now we also again know, wow, they have a GPA of 10 there. That's crazy.
I didn't know it was different. That's
No,
like
no.
the ignorant American in me speaking,
Yeah.
is that I had no idea GPA had different rating
Well,
systems.
because they expect that much more, I guess. It's the
Yeah.
education system there. Not a 4. You need to have a 10. Good for
Four is
you.
always weird to me, anyways. 10 makes more sense.
Yeah, I agree. Then we go to skills. Got Python and Go, which he mentioned. Fast API tools. Okay. I mean, I like the skills section. I like that it's not like flooded,
Yeah.
that there's too much. I think this is a good amount of content for that section. All right, let's head down to the work experience. I sometimes wonder what the specific need for the bold is.
hmm It
Like
makes
we,
it all harder to read.
yeah.
But
Um,
I get why they're doing it. To
mhm.
me, this would make more sense if this was like a website and they could like do a highlight when you hovered over it or something. I don't
Mm,
know. But the bolding is a little much for me,
yeah. It.
especially when it's not just all because what is the rhyme and reason here for bolding? Because
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
it's the skill or the app. Sometimes it's a whole dang sentence or half a sentence. There's got to
Yeah.
be like a system to it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of all over the place. So I'm trying to understand like the pattern, and I'm
Yeah.
not. So um, it also means probably some other people wouldn't if they were looking at it, and it would just be kind of confusing. Build backend services, automating customer workflows. I do like that they mentioned some numbers. You know, again, like statistics or numbers in these types of things, I think do
hmm
matter. You know, if you're building a page that one person saw or 10,000 people, like the traffic is different or the team size is different or the amount of change or like the difference, it like those numbers do matter. Um, Engineered a core fast API backend powering WhatsApp and web bots. Let a 4-person team see like that. I like that. I think that's good. So there's some good points here.
Yeah, it's good points kind of wrapped up in a hard to read package. The thing
Yes,
I like the
nice.
most about this, because I've always done this on my resumes,
Hmm.
is they say their job, when it was, and then immediately below that have the tech they used at that job. For
Mm,
me, I did that on every project thing I've ever done or every, because it really shows, the scope of the job that they were doing there.
hmm. I like this point that was brought up about putting too many tools because there's probably one that you're not excelling at, and you kind of set yourself up for a gotcha moment
Yeah.
where they do ask you a deeper question, and then you're like, it kind of puts you on your heels. So that is something to kind of be mindful of. Great point, Ramsey. All right, so let's go down. We've got some open source. A Concall parser Python package co-developed an LLM powered feature extractor for earnings call reports with 480 plus downloads. That's pretty neat, pretty great. Contributed 5 merge PRs, 61 commits. I do like that they put that. I think people that are familiar with like GitHub and how that works, like that data would be kind of appealing, or like seeing that. Built regression test for data pipeline for GitHub Actions. Okay. And then we have the real time leaderboard project, which was mentioned up here, and some achievements.
Oh, achievements.
Okay. All right. I
Those
don't
achievements
often
are
see
kind of nice.
achievements.
I don't either. I don't hate it though.
No. That's pretty
Especially when
cool.
they're like first place or 3,000 plus participant second runner
Yeah.
up. Like to me, that's like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
I don't know what that thing is, but that sounds impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds awesome.
yeah. And I like to use this word. This is a word that a buddy of mine came up with, a legitimizer. And like I'm
Ooh.
always scanning these things for legitimizers. And to me, like seeing a second runner up at a hackafest with 3,000 plus participants, that's like a legitimizer. And like
Hmm.
having that in there sticks out. So
I like
um,
that.
yeah,
Legitimizer.
we
Okay.
used to use that
Well,
in dance because it's like your routine is good, but there's nothing to show me that you have something more. Like that you are
oh,
like
nice,
you need a
nice.
legitimizer.
Yeah, I like that. What's your legitimizer in dance? What's your
Oh
move?
man, I got a lot of them. I tons of them actually. It's more or less like the unique things that only you can do.
I like that. Well,
Yeah,
see, there's your soundbite for the day, everybody. Too. Find your legitimizer for your toolkit.
gotta
Um,
include them. Yeah.
okay, so I mean, simple one pager. We don't have we have a student here that has some work experience as an intern, so this isn't going to be a super long resume in and of itself already. Uh, we can go ahead and hit the live ratings, folks, if you want to start adding what you feel about this. Remember, it's the link there. start getting those coming in. If anybody could drop that into the chat too, for anybody that hasn't got to it. And then Scott, what are you feeling?
Yeah, so I think aesthetically, for me, it's not it. It's the font, it's the it's not terrible, but it's really hard to read. It
Mm,
needs more line height generally or space in general.
mm,
I it's like I do appreciate a resume on one page, but it does feel like it's crammed in there.
mm,
To me, the introduction paragraph doesn't really tell me enough about who they are. But I do like just about most everything else. We can infer that you're a student or when you're graduating or whatever from the education section. I do like the open source stuff showing that it's not just like I updated a README because you had 61 commits. Like that's just, I mean, that could be you're updating a README 61 times, but I like that you included some of those things that I don't typically think about. And it would, catch my eye if,
yeah.
I was working in any of these things. I think you could bundle it up nicer um, in a presentation. Presentation for me is sadly like a 2, even though I think it's fine. It's a net negative to me when it starts to be like, okay, this is harming my experience reading it. But I think the content quality 3. I
Mm.
don't think this is bad by any means. I'm giving it kind of a low score now that I say that out loud. But like I do think there's a lot of redeemable things in here that you could just tweak and have it be a lot better.
I agree. I'm gonna say probably about a 3-3. I'm just kind of looking through certain things like the alignment of all these links is off. I'm really just nitpicking here. I see like the spacing between this and this is different sizes. It's all just little aesthetic things that most people probably aren't even going to look at,
Yeah.
but it's like maybe somebody will. So it's just those little polishing pieces that I think aesthetically is going to make this easier. And I do agree with Scott's point that it does feel just squished. Everything's like kind of, I need to get this on one page. So how do I do that? But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad at all. I do like
Mhm.
that. I brought this up yesterday about the 61 commits. Is just it was a README, but some people could do that. I think that there was probably a wave of that for a while
Oh,
when
just trying to
those
get points in.
yeah, those green squares were like something that people thought they need to focus on. So they were doing it any way they could. All right, so we've got 5 votes in. Let's see what everybody else said. Okay, 3-2. So look at that. The audience is right with us here. I like that. That's great work, guys.
I do want to shout out again that I like the skills, I like the achievement stuff, and
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of good stuff on here.
Yeah.
Somebody did say Seth said backend dev doesn't need alignment, and I think Seth's probably being just funny, but like the uh the psychological things that happen when there's something nice to read and looks clean and open and it's easy to parse and digest is worth it to do
Mhm.
rather than just be like, oh, we don't care about design or whatever.
Yeah.
uh it makes a difference. Packaging matters, for sure.
I absolutely agree with that. I think sometimes it's those little things that can make you look lazy. It's like,
Yes.
why wouldn't you have just taken that second? So you're lazy in just lining up those 4 links. Like, what is the indication there? Like, again, I think it's just simple things like that. And again, that's not the way everybody thinks, but it's just unnecessary red flags. So it takes 2 seconds to fix. What's someone saying about beer? Oh, how I select my wine to be. Yeah, okay. All right, so we got that one. That was great. Great job, Pranshu. I believe you are in fact here. So, all right, let's see
Mhm.
who's next. I think Trey's here. So let's check out Trey's. Trey Willetto, who I got the opportunity to hang out with when I was down in where the hell was I? What were we at? Oh yeah, Denver. He
Colorado.
was Denver. Yeah, where
Yes.
I didn't get to see you again this time.
Well, I know this because I know Trey, so
Oh,
it was fun.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. There we
Yeah,
go.
we got to hang
Boom.
out.
Awesome. I think he's still here. I thought, yeah, he's still here. There he is. I see him. Trey Dubs. What up, buddy? Yeah, we hung out and had some coffee. Good to see you, Trey. All right, here we go. Giddy up. I will
Trey, I'm going to
immediately
skewer you. I'm going to tell you that.
give it to him. Give it to him. I like the simplicity of it. I feel like it's very, very minimal, which for me, I like. What do you think?
Yeah, this is my style.
Mm,
Um, yeah. The there's something weird about the links up top, Gmail, the LinkedIn, whatever. I don't know what it is. Something's
mm.
weird about it, but not that weird. Not weird enough to be like, ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, no, okay, senior full stack developer, nice bulleted list, but overall aesthetically, good pop at the start, like nothing outrageous, nice and simple. And folks might not realize this, but nice and simple like wins over overdone every time.
Hmm.
Nice and simple, room to breathe, whatever is always a good look, especially when you see some of the resumes that people see over the years.
Yeah, I the thing that's kind of throwing me off, and this is again just kind of nitpicky. It's nothing major. Is that it goes this is the professional summary, but I don't feel like it reads like that.
Yeah.
And then it jumps into the work experience, which format wise, then I've got that big bold headline underneath.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. For some reason, that just is reading weird to me. So I don't know if maybe it's just putting that experience into a paragraph would just, which would also probably make it smaller and pull the work experience up a little bit more, but keeping all that data. I don't know. For some reason, just the formatting there is making my eyes like bonk out.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. And they're also including kind of things that other people might put in the skills section, which we already talked about
Yeah.
inside of this. So I think if Trey, like, because I know you, um, looking at this, I don't think this senior full stack developer section tells me who you are
Mm,
because I think it matters that I know him because it's like, all right, does this describe Trey? It does maybe from like an outside, but it's not telling me, who you are, what you're passionate about. The edge, like from what I know, your history and education is like an important part of your background. Um, you're a very personable guy. You're easy to talk to, and like you don't have to put those things in here, but like this doesn't tell me that necessarily of like who you are. I'm a full stack developer with an eye and passion for development, purpose driven work. That's great. Um, and I think you can work the rest of this into a paragraph that's a little bit more like personable.
mm. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think somebody else had mentioned this second bullet point really could probably be broken up or again, like, yeah, right here is skilled, like make this a separate one, or again, this is your skills section just written out. So maybe that could go somewhere else. Because that reads really long, that second one. All right, so outside of this professional summary, this cryptic professional summary layout, let's go down to the work experience. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Maybe you know what the name of that company is, Scott?
The first one,
Yeah.
Prosody, Prosody.
Prosody. Okay, that's how I was going to
I'm
pronounce it,
the
but
last person in the world you should trust pronunciations of things. Uh, I got last place in every spelling bee I ever attended, so I have no
amazing.
clue. Yeah,
Uh, Created a full stack web app for Derek G, a creator with an audience of 500,000 plus. That's cool. That's a cool
yeah,
stat. Shop, but I don't know who that is. So, I mean, I think I will note plus points for putting the audience number because I think that's the point that matters because it's
yeah.
like some people won't know who that is. So it's good that
I
you
don't know who
put
it is.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shopify development and management for Knockbox, a company with 300,000 plus monthly visitors and 30 million annual revenue. Great. I love the statistics there. Again, those are the important things. Like, I don't know
yeah,
what Knockbox is, but 300,000 and 30 million annual revenue, like those are big numbers. So that's fantastic.
yeah.
Custom websites for several small businesses using Sanity. Awesome. All right, what are we feeling so far?
I think he does a good job of being sounding impressive in the things that he's done. Like you said,
Mm,
30 million, 500,000, 300,000, big number,
yeah.
look good. Um, that's like caveman brain for me is like, yes, I can see that and
Yeah.
think that that's good. It does have a little bit of the tech he's using. Um, I don't know why. I feel like some of these could get a little bit more room to breathe. All of my advice is just turning into design advice here. Uh, but yeah, at first when I read the first one, I was a little bit like, for Derek G. Okay, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then a creator with an audience of, so I think he does a better job than the previous two resumes of selling what he's done rather than just listing what he's done.
Mm.
Because there's a difference there where like you could just say, um, I created a full stack web app for digital creator, built website with Shopify using or for Knockbox. Like the selling of it, I
Hmm.
think makes a bigger impact than some people realize.
I absolutely agree with that. Somebody had mentioned the font on each is kind. Yeah, the
Yes.
zeros are kind of throwing me off. I
Yeah.
agree, but again, that's minor, super minor.
Keep it to two
Um,
fonts, Trey. You got
yeah,
three fonts going on here.
come on, buddy.
Oh no, he's got two fonts.
Does he?
He's got two different heading fonts. That's the problem.
Oh
Two different
yeah,
heading fonts.
yeah. I do like. I will say, and again, excellent use of the numbers, like that selling. Like you are right on the nose with he's like his selling his skills here really well. Rebar. Okay, we had about a year there, led creation of an in-house design system with the headless CMS, which you mentioned up regards to Sanity. Oh no, you did that at this other place as well. Leader, sole developer on 6 projects. We've got some Svelte experience to match clients' branding. Sole developer on 2 Shopify sites. So I've noticed this on a lot of resumes is that most recent experience will have the most data, especially like numbers, and then it just kind of peters off. And
Well,
usually
because it
by
gets
that
nothing
last
done.
one, they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I built some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean in my first job, yeah, I guess I did have some fairly impressive clients, but it wasn't because of anything I did. I
Hmm.
don't know if yeah, it's tough because you do get into that and it's like how can you sell some of these things
Yeah.
if there isn't like a strong selling point. But I do think yeah, trying harder for that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Um
I think
yeah,
for me,
you
it's
don't
just
yeah,
consistency too.
yeah.
Where the first one looks one way and then the next two just read very differently. And I think, again, it's those little things. It's the
Mm.
presentation. So let's see what we got here. Campus tech lead developed and implemented reading intervention and world history curriculum. So these are all the non-technical stuff. So we made
Mhm.
the transition from 2021 to 2022 into tech. How do you feel about non-technical work histories?
I
Like,
think there's a point at which it becomes relevant and a point at
mhm,
which it becomes irrelevant.
yeah.
Like we literally for our syntax job we had open for our digital creator, they have to be a coder, whatever. Somebody put on their experience working at McDonald's. It's like,
Mm,
okay, I get it. That's fine. We had jobs when we were young, but you don't got to put that on your resume for a coding job. Um, a teacher to me makes sense when
mm,
you are doing more education or in a management type of role where you're needing to mentor people or get, but like as a maybe an entry level position, I think it makes less sense to have not even on an entry level, but like maybe just a developer role. And maybe it
yeah.
makes less sense to me because those kind of things can come out in conversation where they're like, okay, what were you doing from this time to this time? Oh, as a teacher, that maybe is more conversational. But again, um, yeah, I don't know. This one can go both ways. Um so much of this stuff is really subjective to the reviewer looking at
Yes.
it
Yes.
and the mood they're in that day, which sucks.
Also true. I mean, but that's the reality of it. So
Yeah.
it's like you always want to shine the best light on what you have to get the best opportunity. It's tough because I want to show that even though I'm newer to tech, I've worked grown up jobs for a decade. That's fair. I think that, again, there is a time and a space for certain things. And I think if you're able to articulate your transferable skills from teaching to tech. Like there has to be something working on teams or mentoring or management, some sort of leadership skills that you are bringing with you. I think that those could be spoken about, and then it ties the relevance, which I think you did. But this is all. Oh yeah, 8 goat intestines. Somebody point.
Didn't see that one.
That's interesting. I mean, but for me, like that's funny. Like that's something that also is making sure kind of people are checking your whole resume. Like, did somebody make it to the
Yeah.
second page? Did they see that? I feel like a recruiter would bring that up. That's funny. Okay,
I
and then we.
I see Roxy in the chat said um breaking down complex issues. And I think what's such a good point about that is that like those things can be listed as relevant work experience if you can tie them back to how it would make you better at the job you're applying
Mhm.
for. And that's like the specific, maybe even less if it's applicable to the job itself. But if I did forget the yo, I'm sorry. Uh, breaking down complex issues, yo. I, I, I do think that could be put in there as long as if you want to show Trey that you've been in the workforce for this long, you've been working, you're dependable, you're reliable, you can hold a job. Figure out how to make it super relevant in those bullet points to what would make you employable at this job.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody had asked how you can share your resume. That is a fantastic question. Head over to the Torque Discord. It's right at the top of torque.community. And then ping Angelos. You can send him your resume. I think that we're already set for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. We did get a lot of submissions, but feel free to send it because we do these every couple weeks. Yeah, we'd love to have you in the community as well. So, all right. We're at the bottom here. We've got our education. Why don't you guys go ahead and put your ratings in for Trey, our friend Trey from Denver. Thank you again for submitting as well. This was good. And Scott, go ahead with yours, man.
Yeah. I think the presentation could be better, but that said, it's probably the best of that we've seen so far.
Agreed.
So if this is out of a 5, got no notes, I'll put it at a 4. There's certainly notes aesthetically, presentation wise. Content quality, he could get it to where it needs to be in 20, 30 minutes. So
Yeah,
I'll give him a 4 for content quality as well. And I'm not just saying this because I like Trey. I'm saying this because I do think this resume is like you can button this resume up in about 30 minutes. No problem.
for sure. Well, Trey, I don't like you, and I'm still giving you a 4. So I agree. I'm kidding. I do like Trey. Um, I agree with everything that Scott said. I think that this is really just a matter of sitting down for a half an hour and just polishing it. That's it. I think you have a ton of great information here. I think you actually do have a ton of great work experience, and I think the numbers, like the metrics, the things that you focused on to really sell yourself were great. So this is a good one. Let's see what the audience says. Oh, 3-3. Okay, a little lower than we were going, but content was definitely higher than presentation. So I think
Mhm.
all of us agree that the information here is solid. So yeah, clean it up, man. Clean it up. Clean up your act. I'm just kidding. Great job, Trey. Thanks for dropping it in on us too. All right, last one. We got time for one more. Let's go with Gabriel. Gabriel, you here? Hopefully. I hope. All right, let's reset this real quick. Whoops. Someday I'll figure out how to use this. There we go. This is what happens when you just build tools on the fly, right? Okay. Hey, you are here. Awesome. Love to see it. Char
Man, right
modes.
away.
Beautiful.
Presentation wise, easy to read.
Yeah, I
Super
love
nice.
this.
Super clean.
Yeah.
Good first impression, Gabriel.
Yeah. I apologize for not omitting personal data, but that's Angelos. Come on, man. Do better. I'm just kidding. It is what it is. If you submit, you run the risk. Software engineer with 3+ years of experience in web dev, skilled in languages such as Python, Java. The summary is already too long for me to want to read. It
Mm-hmm.
just like I already trailed off. That's my personal opinion, but again, like I feel like that first sentence really needs to hook you. Again, this is a story about your experience. This is you selling you to me, and I've already like kind of got bored.
Yeah, Gabriel, we know what your experience is here, but what do you love? You know, what are you into? What do you actually care about? Because here's what you did. Here's a little bit about your software engineering experience. What you know, that tells me like what you've done, but like, who are you? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
I will say I love this skills section though. That is just that reads so easy. Um, do we need the beginners section though? Eh.
Yeah, no, don't put it there.
Yeah, I
Put
wouldn't.
it
I
at
wouldn't.
skills glanced at once. You know?
I saw a YouTube video one time
Yeah,
where the guy
I know
had
what it is.
AWS. Yeah. What did Roxy say? Pretend it's a LinkedIn post. Yeah. I think that's again a great way of looking at it. Okay.
Roxy's had good advice here. Listen to Roxy.
Yeah, that's true. Professional experience. Okay. So some people are back and forth. I know my boss, Taylor, likes to have a little bit of a company description just to explain like what this company
Hmm.
does. I think in certain instances that does make sense. We don't have that here. Um, I don't know that that's really something that would detract me from being interested in this candidate, but I do think sometimes it helps to understand the context of the place that the person's doing the work. So, let the development of okay was TypeScript up here, yeah, and Angular. So, okay, so I don't know that I would rank your skills. How do you feel
Yeah.
about that? Because now I'm cross referencing his experience with TypeScript and Angular, and it's only telling me he's an intermediate proficiency at that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't rank them at all. No.
Yeah.
And I put them on there, but even then I put them at the bottom. It's like if you want to see this stuff, sure. But that's me telling you my skills, not like me showing you my skills. And
Hmm.
that's something very different. Even back to like the dance thing, you can talk as much as you want, but nobody cares. You got to show,
Mm,
what you do. Show what you know.
yeah. If I've got years of experience, but I got promoted, should I add all the promotions? That's an interesting question. How do you feel about that?
Only if they're super impressive. Like I got promoted from entry level to senior engineer in 1 year because I was so good. And don't say
Mm.
it like that, obviously, but I've gotten plenty. I've gotten plenty of promotions. No, I've never considered putting it on there, but only if it's very impressive. Like only if it would make me go, damn.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think unless it's really significant, it needs to be there. The work experience, the chorus, like here and again, the way that this is broken up into key tech and tools, and then core responsibilities, but you have the key tech and tools in the
Yeah,
core responsibilities,
yeah,
so it's like redundancy of
redundant.
information, which I absolutely hate. That's like one of my biggest issues is redundancy. Yeah, I mean, I think also just the responsibilities, these bullet points, they're good, but could they be deeper? Like, could you dive deeper into these explanations and really
Yeah.
tell us, like, you developed a suite of tools using Python to access geospatial data within an automated workflow? Okay, like, what was the tool? Was it an internal tool that how many people are using?
Hmm.
Like, I feel like these could be fleshed out a little bit better. What do you think?
I don't know personally how much deeper I would get, but I do when you were saying that, even just then, it did kind of get back into the selling it a bit more,
Mm, mm-hmm.
right? Because you're looking for those legitimizers as to like what exactly this responsibility did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you developed a suite of tools, but like, did that improve whose lives and how many people's lives and why was it important? Why was it important that you did that?
Yeah, I agree. Um, Roxy had asked, where did it go? What about sprinkling the same keywords around? Is that redundancy? What are you familiar with, like keyword search or how ATS systems kind of look at these things?
No.
Because I don't I don't know that just making sure that your resume says Python 10 times is gonna put you in
Hmm.
front of anybody like in a search.
Yeah.
I, so I
Um,
wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm always the
Yeah.
type of person who, in my resumes, I'm tailoring it for the specific job I'm applying for. Now, you can't
Mhm.
do that if you're applying for 20,000 jobs, but like
Yeah.
if there's a job I really want, I'm tailoring it. I'm finding the keywords in their job posting it, and I'm figuring out how I can best relate those explicit things explicitly in my core responsibilities, especially because like if I'm applying something that I'm good at and know I fit the job well, then I should be able to say, here's how I demonstrate those skills in my core
Yeah.
responsibilities. So that's the way I would do it, but I would only ever pick one core responsibility to illustrate one thing that they're looking for in their job posting. But that's a lot of work. If you're applying for a lot, it is effective. Yeah.
I agree. But yeah, as far as just trying to, I don't know, I guess it's almost essentially trying to cheat the system in a sense. I don't think it's going to help. I don't. I think there's plenty of space or opportunity in a resume to talk about your skills within a specific, again, I'll use Python. I don't think you just need to start peppering Python in everywhere. Like, how many times am I seeing it here? One, two, three, four. Do I think that that increased his chances of getting a Python role? No. So I don't know. I guess just something to think about. Ramsey brought up too, and I want to hear your feedback on this. Is it just me, or do the bullets say a lot yet nothing at all?
Yeah, I think that is because, again, like you had mentioned, the kind of keyword spamming. Develop a suite of tools using Python Fast API to access geospatial data with an automated workflow. But the key tools and technologies already has Fast API, so cut one or the other. But in that same regard, you developed a suite of tools to access geospatial data within an automated workflow. Why did you do that?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, that's where it's not saying anything because it's not telling you the impact or the why. It's just telling you, oh, I did this thing. I
Yeah.
pushed 5 rocks up a hill. Okay, why? I pushed 5 rocks up a hill because people were needing them to climb up something because they were dying of thirst. It's a much more, you know,
Yeah.
important. It's a trite example. I just made it up, but you need a little bit of story.
Oh,
You
you
know,
just made that up? You didn't actually have that ever on your resume?
no, I'm talking about the parable. Is that a parable? I don't know the story.
I think it's something like that. Yes. Um, I love that. Oh, here you go. Perfect. You used to roast coffee, so I have experience with Java. There you go. That's perfect. Love that for you. All right. Kind of similar here. It's the same sort of pattern as far as how these are written. So I think overall the feedback we gave you could be effective here. I would lose all the key technology and tool sections, and again, give us the what and the why, or like that end result, like why these things were happening, or just there's better ways to write these. I think research assistant. Again, similar research assistant, similar. So all the experience could use some fixing as far as the formatting. And then we have a project here. Again, same way it's written up. How do you feel about projects on resumes? Do I need to have a project when I have that much experience to speak to?
I with projects, I would rather you show me than talk about it.
Mm,
Because okay, I can see a project, but I would much rather like, paw through it,
yeah.
get my grubby hands in there. What's going on?
I like that point, and this is something that I've mentioned a few times in the past too, is give me links. Like
Yeah.
if you're
GitHub links.
mentioning, yeah, if you're mentioning,
Yeah.
which I think we did have a GitHub up here, which
Yeah.
is good, but you're
If
referring
there's
to the,
specific ones, yeah.
yeah, if you're referring to this project down here and it's something that you can let people like publicly view, just put it so that I don't have to go back up, because in this moment, if I want to look at it, just put it there. It is that simple to do. Education, And then courses. Is this that's I guess that's different. Would you separate these two, or do you think this could all be education or kind of fit into one category?
I don't necessarily know what the courses here applies to. I would say
Yeah,
leave it off.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
And then also we have languages, which again I feel like we do see more with international resumes. And
Yeah.
to your point earlier, I think that there's definitely a benefit here. But I will also say that if you're telling me you're fluent in English, and again, you brought this up earlier, you better be fluent in English. Like that can definitely be a disqualifier very quickly. Our
That's good to
service,
see, though, a level
yeah,
rather than just
oh
languages,
yeah,
English, you know.
yeah. That's what Taylor said before, but I disagree. I feel like everyone should have projects. If you have the link and you can show it, it gives a lot of insight. I agree, but put the link. Like Scott said also, like we
Yeah.
want to be able to actually see the project and touch it and do things as opposed to you just explaining it out to us. So,
I think this is a good middle ground here because people are wondering what projects do I include? I mean, you have the
mhm.
GitHub. Do I have the link to the project and for the code?
Hmm.
Here's what you do if you can. You have a section for relevant projects. If you have a
Hmm.
GitHub and you don't have any relevant projects, don't include it. If you have relevant projects that show off your specific ability, then that's great because uh, you would link to the README or you'd link to the GitHub, and then in the README itself include the link to the project. There, you've solved your clutter.
Mm,
You're not including multiple links. You're not making it difficult. You got to README. I can look at the project if I want. I can look at the code I want, but like, don't include a bunch of random stuff if it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah, when I applied at Google, they wanted to look at a bunch of my work, which was sadly non-public, and they were like, "Can you include repos to some of these projects?" It's like, well, this is all proprietary work that is not currently live. I cannot show it to you. And I do think that harmed me getting the job because they wanted to see some real code. They wanted to see some real projects. And all I could show them was my stuff from like 4 years before. So, uh, yeah,
I
people
agree.
want to see code.
Yeah. I think especially if you're a developer, like
Yeah.
it's your job. Like people want to see that. If you were a chef, people would want to taste your food.
Yeah. Make me a meal.
So make me the sandwich. Let me bite the sandwich. All
Yeah.
right, why don't we go ahead and audience go ahead and hit your rating. Let's get that pulled up and Scott, give us your feedback.
Yeah. You know what? I think I might have a different mind than you on this one for presentation. I
Hmm.
think this one's great for presentation. I would be perfectly happy to receive this. I would give this a 5 for presentation.
Ooh,
It just looks nice. It's easy. There's nothing crazy about it. They didn't go overboard.
sure.
Um, I would give it like a 3 for content quality. I think the summary needs a lot of work. Maybe even give it a 2 for content quality. The summary needs a lot of work. The descriptions for your things, I'll go down to 2 because I've been too nice. The summary thing, the individual things definitely need to be sold more. Again, all of the things we said, don't rate your skills, projects, all of the little fine touches we have that you would need to tweak. But just glancing at it, I'm like, oh, this person is like, they at least care about how this looks. Although they do have a pipe after their GitHub. Get rid of that pipe, Gabriel. I'm going to dock you
Yeah.
0.1.
What's going on there? Come on now.
Nine,
Um
4.9.
I honestly I do like this layout. This resume is very clean. And I agree with all the points you made. So I'm gonna definitely also go probably about a 4-4 on the layout. Because it's still there could be little tweaks. I think again removing that whole skill section or cleaning that up and then our key tech and tools losing those that probably would have made it a 5 for me. And then content wise, I definitely would say low twos for sure because that's where most of the cleanup needs to happen. Let's see what everybody else is saying. We got 4 votes in here. Let's go. Okay, 3. Everybody's going 3.
Yeah.
Presentation closer to 4, and then content wise a 3. So, yeah, I totally agree with this. So perfect,
Yeah.
Gabriel.
These are all very, very good starts or even like
Hmm.
good first drafts. And Gabriel, you know, like you said, we just work on that content or whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many small tweaks you could make to all of them to turn them into 4s and 5s pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
except for the
Well,
first one, which that one needs to be just. I'm sorry.
obliterated,
Yeah.
obliterated. Um, well, that was awesome, Scott. Do you, as far as closing thoughts, based on the ones you've seen and based historically on ones that you've seen in the past, like what's one piece of advice you could give people for writing their resume?
Yeah. I think a piece of advice, man, I got a lot of advice for resumes, but I think a big one is the relevancy that you need to show that you are a fit for this job will be gleaned or glean. I don't know what word it is. The interviewer will see if you are a good, relevant candidate for this job in moments within
Mm,
glancing at your resume. So if you would like to be stand out, you need to make sure that this resume matches what you're applying for. Because that is such the thing I saw the most. I cannot tell you in Greenhouse, which is the tool that we use
mm,
to review resumes, how many we tossed out just because it was like, um, in the first 10 seconds, this does not show me that they're a relevant candidate. So
mm,
you need to just like really look at the two side by side and say, does this make me seem like I could do this job? It sounds basic here. That and presentation, you know, it matters. It doesn't have to be a work of art, and it probably shouldn't be. Just make it clean. Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you said. I mean, presentation does matter. As much as sometimes people say it doesn't, it absolutely does. If you're trying to put your best foot forward, like that few seconds, that first entry to the information about you that someone has so much bearing on that. So you should always leverage that to your advantage. Um, wow. Yeah, this was a good one. I appreciate everybody in the audience hanging out. Scott, what do you have coming up next? Where you got a pod dropping soon?
Oh man, yeah, we release a podcast every Monday and Wednesday now. Wes Boss and I talk all things web development. We do web development questions. We get deep on tech. We talk about all the latest stuff. But we are doing a lot on YouTube now, which a lot of people don't know. We're releasing
Awesome.
several times a week on YouTube. We have a new weekly series on Fridays where CJ Reynolds and Wes and I we play games, coding competitions, and stuff that are a blast. And then on Thursdays and occasional days, CJ and I both release technical deep dives on stuff. So
I love that. I'm getting the YouTube link right now for everybody. You guys can all go
youtube.com/at syntax FM.
boom. There it is. Everybody go head over there and support everybody over at Syntax, especially this guy Scott. This was a cool one. Here, let's do a screen. You're doing thumbs on me here. Let's get a little screenshot action and all right, I like that. If I can figure out how to use my Raycast right now. All right, here we
Oh
go.
man.
There we go. All right, I got it. Awesome.
I do want to say that nothing on Syntax is ever sponsored. We are owned by Sentry. We do not accept sponsorship. So people are always like, "Is this sponsored? Is it not sponsored?" We don't. We just sponsor
Nice.
stuff we find interesting. So
That's fantastic. All right. Well, this was a pleasure. Thanks for coming and helping us and giving us some insight. It's always good to see somebody else's opinion on these things because it's always changing. What people want, what people don't want, and it's always good to get a different kind of good viewpoints, different viewpoints. So this was really cool. Everybody in the
thank you for
audience,
having me.
no, thanks for coming. We finally made something happen. We've
I
been
know.
trying for a while. Do you wanna break dance us out? You're gonna.
In real life, I could. Somebody said do a code while you're in a headstand. I would like to report I have done that before, so that is not outside of my purview.
All right. Well, maybe next time. Maybe we'll do a coding headstand challenge. All
Yeah.
right, Scott. This was a pleasure. Audience, we will be back tomorrow. I think we're going to be on around 12:30. So like now, tomorrow, right before our Discord event at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Go show some love to the Torque community page, and you can always access our Discord right from there. We have a calendar of events as well. But yeah, this was great. We'll see everybody later. Bye, everybody. man, that was cool.